Hey violins, this is a rundown of the Violin 2 part for Shortnin Bread, which was arranged by Daniel Tobias. And if you're familiar with the first violin part, you should be pretty good to go on the second violin part. The rhythms are really identical. What's different is just some notes here and there. For instance, when you get to measure 5 and you have the melody going on, you're going to be playing more harmony with the melody rather than the actual melodic line. For instance, at measure 5, the first violin part does the, whereas the second violin part actually will go on the stay on the D string. And so when those two parts come together, they harmonize and it sounds really thick and full. The other spot to really practice would actually be going 21 through 28, similar to first violin part because of the rests and also the accidentals. You have different accidentals though. You do have that F natural that appears in 22 in the second violin part, so you're going to bring that second finger back to first finger. Really important to get that 2L or low 2 right there, but also in the following measure in 23 you have an E flat. That's the last note of the measure, and what you're going to do is you're going to actually reach back. So if this is first finger E on the D string, you're going to actually pull that first finger back halfway between that regular first finger area and the nut. That's that raised piece of wood above the fingerboard holding the strings up. You're going to actually pull that first finger back halfway. That's going to be E flat. And you're going to have that at measure 23. You're also going to have that once again at measure 27. So really important that you get that jump back there. And also, when you come to measure 26, that you go back to regular first finger E natural. So it's a lot to think about, it's a lot to take in. So never be fooled that the second violin part is easier or less tricky than the first violin part. It definitely has its curveballs and its twists and turns that you need to really be on your toes for to play it correctly. So tempo is marked at 120, and I'm going to put the metronome in just a second, but definitely practice up these spots in like sort of excerpts, like 4 measure chunks, 2 measure chunks, 8 measure chunks, getting them together, and then you can start to assemble the whole piece. So similar to the first violin part, we're going to start with double stops. So if you watch the first violin video and you've learned the first violin part, you're already familiar with this open A and open E, open D, open A, open G, open D kind of sound. So here's the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So that's the second violin part for that one. And as you heard, in my mind at 37, I definitely, that was interesting, but my mind was elsewhere, probably on the first violin part, and so I just really kind of messed that up. But I'm leaving it in on purpose. One, the main reason is I wanted to show you that when you're actually putting a piece together, if you make a mistake, don't stop. Really play the whole thing through. Go back and then fix it. After this video, I'll definitely practice 37 over again, but then I'll actually practice the transition into it. So I'll start, once I get 37 comfortable with my fingers, I'll go back to 33 so I get that running start into it so that it doesn't throw me off again. But that's how I'd approach it. And I just wanted to leave that in there on purpose for that. So I have practicing to do, and for you, happy practicing and good luck.